Welcome back, Southwest Florida, to Lee Pitts Live. So glad to get him here in the studio. He will be Chris Reesor. Welcome to the show, Chris. Rebuilding together, based out of Tampa, one of your head office. But we have you down here in Southwest Florida, and you're sort of managing the Southwest Florida component of Rebuilding Together. Is that the way to describe it?
Absolutely. That's perfect.
In a nutshell, what is Rebuilding Together?
Rebuilding Together is a 501c3 that started about 45 years ago out of Texas. We have 120 affiliates nationwide. And like you said earlier, I'm working with the affiliate out of Tampa Bay. What we focus on is repairs of homes, revitalization of homes, and rebuilds. So think of us as a construction company, a nonprofit company. Mm-hmm.
What brings you to this area to lend your expertise is the Harlem Heights area.
Yes, sir.
As a result of Hurricane Ian. How would you describe Harlem Heights?
I would describe Harlem Heights as an area that historically has either been stepped over or stepped on, would probably be.
Underserved,
yes, sir.
Largely a minority community, and during Hurricane Ian, we were able to put some focus on Harlem Heights when a lot of other places were getting services. Harlem Heights was being left out. Now, of course, it's moving in the right direction. What are some things that your organization is going to be doing or is doing at Harlem Heights?
So far, we've put 6 new roofs on homes that suffered damage from Hurricane Ian. Our goal is to do 30 homes in the Harlem Heights area. We also have arranged organizations to partner together to do mucking and gutting and clearing out parts of the drywall, as well as painting interior, exterior, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, the list goes on.
The Rebuilding Together's primary mission is what?
Everybody should live in a healthy, safe home, no matter what your salary is, what you have, or what you don't have. Everybody should be able to live in a safe environment. You
act as the conduit to bring different expertise to a particular site. You don't physically do everything, but you organize the plumbers, the electricians, and all of that, and you get your funding how?
We get our funding from many different ways, private foundations, organizations, through state and federal funding, but most importantly, we partner with a Home Depot Foundation, sponsorships through Wells Fargo, TD Bank, and the list goes on.
The objective at Harlem Heights is what, and when will that be completed?
That's a tough question, but a good one. We're looking at September. There's already been several homes that we're getting closer and closer to focusing on the finishing projects, which would be sanding down the drywall or the mud that's been applied, and then primer, paint, trim work, etc. So we're looking at September being the final date.
When people have received your services, the housing, restructuring, rebuilding, do they have debt?
None whatsoever. All costs are covered, 100%.
Expand on how that is the case.
It is that case because, like I said before, we secure funding through different donations, grant writing, and that way we cover the cost. So at no cost to the homeowner at any time.
Why Harlem Heights? Why no other parts? I don't know that that is the case, but right now it seems like you targeted Harlem Heights in this particular area. Do you have your eyes on any other areas, or why Harlem Heights?
Harlem Heights was hit hard by the storm first and foremost. Historically, what we talked about earlier being a community that has been stepped past or underserved. That was the main goal. As we're expanding on getting to those finished projects within Harlem Heights, we're looking at other areas within Lee County, DeSoto County, as well as Charlotte County.
Is this your first foray into Lee County?
This is, yeah.
Do you see opportunity here that Lee County can really benefit from your services?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's, I believe, as horrible as the destruction of the storm was, what it has done is shine a light on problem areas within housing and how we can assist as an organization. Furthermore, partnering with other organizations such as Habitat and United Way.
How does one tap into your services? Do you have to be an organization that partners with you, or can individuals make a phone call or go to your website and tap into your services?
That's a great question. So whether you are a volunteer or you're a homeowner in need, or you're simply a construction worker, a sub-construction worker, and want to attain a job and work part-time, those kind of things, you can reach out to us through our website, which is rttb.org.
You mentioned that word volunteer. There are a substantial amount of volunteers that do work with you?
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
What type of volunteers are you looking for? Expound on that, if you please, that really would benefit what you're doing.
So a lot of people say, well, I'm unable to help. It's a construction company, which is definitely not true. From the simplest things of painting an exterior or interior, or learning how to do some landscaping, simple things like that, we provide.
This appears to be passionate. You seem to be personally passionate about this. What in your background? What about you? Why are you doing this? What makes you so committed?
I've been in nonprofit for about 8 years. On the East Coast, I was an executive director of a small nonprofit that worked primarily in areas, and it was gardening and farming and homeless outreach. This is a great organization for the simple reason I've been in homes that have been broken apart, where I grew up, how I grew up. And so when you can help somebody get back whole again, something as simple as small landscaping, and it's even more of a blessing for the people that are volunteering because they can see a before and they can see an after. And the rebuild part of our organization isn't always necessarily the structure. It's rebuilding communities, rebuilding relationships.
What are some of the feedback in your many years of doing this from a family or individual? What's that story that you can tell me that when you came in, this family was in this condition, and this is what happened, and this is the type of feedback I got, and that's something that people can rest assured that rebuilding together is certainly doing a magnificent job.
It's communities. Yeah, you touch one person's life, and you're doing a rebuild on a home, and then the neighbors come over and they assist. Or we're moving something very heavy, and somebody else sees and they come over and they assist. And years later say, hey, where have you been? I haven't seen you in a while. And that's how I know it has that it.
Harlem Heights situations in particular was as a result of a natural disaster. Do you only deal in those types of stress situations, or do you just deal in eliminating blight and slum and poverty and things of that nature as well, trying to work in that capacity?
Yeah, absolutely. We're not storm recovery. This just happens to be something that we're able to assist with because the damage is great. But I look forward to continuing to be here years and years after the storm and assisting people in need.
How can people get in touch with you for more information?
Again, our website is rttb.org.
Well, welcome to the community.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad we got you here.
Yeah.
All right, keep up the good work. Let's bump you out. As the saying goes on this particular show, for those who say it can't be done, they are usually interrupted by those like Chris and all the fine people are rebuilding together in Tampa Bay who are doing it. And remember, Miami may have the oranges, but rebuilding together Tampa Bay has got the
juice.
It got the juice. We'll be back.
Lee Pitts Live is a Lee Pitts Enterprise production.
Hello everybody, this is Lee. I'm so glad that you watched that particular show, and if you enjoyed that show, we got other shows like that. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel, watch Lee Pitts Live on demand anytime, and also hit us up on all our social media platforms. Just type in Lee Pitts Live, and there you go.